Hey everybody, welcome to a very different episode of the Blue Glow. I am not recording this live, I'm doing it in post, and there's a reason for that. This is a very interesting game. It's one of those that are all about choice, and it definitely seems pretty robust in that respect. I don't think any two people are going to get the same story out of this one unless it sort of bottlenecks later on, but I played for about 2 hours and I was pretty impressed with how much it felt like I was making the decisions. The best thing that I can say about it is that it engrossed me enough that I couldn't really do a live Let's Play. I was finding it very hard to improvise and be entertaining because the game was so interesting that I was just kind of spacing out and silently getting sucked into it. So rather than attempt to do any kind of goofy live Chucklefest commentary, I decided that it would be more interesting to highlight the game's strengths by just going through my decisions in the story so far. So, this is the story of my adventures in the world of Always Sometimes Monsters. So the game starts with this intro of an old guy and a young guy on some shifty mob business who then get a gun pulled on them by this heavily clothed vagrant who says some cryptic things and then asks you to listen to a story. Your options are to shoot the vagrant or listen to the story. Obviously, I chose to listen to the story, and in retrospect, it seems like this vagrant whose face you can't see is probably the player character. I could be wrong about that, but it seems pretty obviously like that's the case. Otherwise, why would this character even be narrating the story? It just seems logical. As the story begins, you shift control to the host of a party, and you go around talking to the guests one by one, and each one asks you to make a toast. I said yes to the very first person I came across, not really realizing what was going on, but what this actually turned out to be is a very obtuse way of choosing the player's avatar, which I actually think is pretty cool and atmospheric. So you say yes to the toast, and then control switches to that person as they go looking for their boyfriend or girlfriend to make the toast with, and you choose that character too. So I was now playing as this blonde girl, Jessica Jam, and the first person I talked to as her was this brunette with sunglasses on, who I decided to name Jennifer Jelly. You see, it's like poetry. They sort of rhyme. So she became my girlfriend. I made a toast to not screwing up, and so begins the story of Jessica Jam and Jennifer Jelly, star-crossed lesbian lovers in a cold and uncompromising world. So now the game starts for real, picking up a year later. Jessica Jam wakes up in her apartment alone, finding $1 in the couch cushions and 3 pizza rolls, one of which she burns before coming across an eviction notice warning me that I owe $500, as well as a note from some guy named Darkhef telling me to come work at the Phoenix. Coming out into the hallway, I decided to spy through my neighbor's keyholes. They were doing it, and this guy was smoking drugs. I talked to a nice old lady who asked if I could come by and help her clean her place later, and I thanked her for the offer. She went back to her room, and I immediately decided to spy on her through the keyhole. Holy shit, she's getting railed. Leaving the apartment complex, I was stopped by the crotchety old landlord who talks a lot of shit and threatens me with eviction. He tells me he's taken my keys, and I ran away. To hell with that old bastard. Suck my dick, you sanctimonious shit-talking old cocksucker. Wanna run your mouth? I'll break your fucking hip. Exploring the city, I met a drug dealer / popcorn vendor named Dirty Don, who tells an amusing story about how he invented the popcorn trick, originally calling it the Dirty Don maneuver, before being sued by the Dirty Sanchez guy. A little further on down the road, I met a party girl named Haley waiting in line to get into the Phoenix Club. She tells me about a new drug that sounds like some kind of ecstasy or something. She hands me $50 and asks me to go buy her some from Dirty Don. Obviously, if I want, I can pocket the money to go towards my rent, but I'm kind of hoping that if I get her the drugs, she might share. This is a video game after all. I can take drugs if I want. And I do want. Dirty Don sells me the drugs, but offers a cheaper version of the drug that may or may not be full of toxins. I could get the cheaper one and pocket the rest of the money, but old Jessica Jam's the element of honesty, so I ain't about to pull one over on a nice girl like Haley. I give Haley the drugs, and in return, she gives me a key to her apartment, saying that I can come over later for some drugged-up lesbian party sex. Looks like so far I'm making all the right decisions. I gave a sandwich to a bum. He didn't seem very grateful. Son of a bitch. After that, I went digging around in a dumpster for food and found a fish. This bum claimed it was his fish and yelled at me for taking it, but I told him finders keepers and ran off. Fuck that guy, it's my dumpster fish and I ain't giving it up for no one. I gave my dumpster fish to a dog, and in its excitement, it dropped some kind of locket. Could be valuable. I hope it doesn't hold any sentimental value for the dog. After that, I wandered into the Vagabond Dog Studios, the studio responsible for the very game that I'm playing right now. There was a lot of meta humor and self-referential cheekiness within, as well as some playable arcades that parodied other games. It made me mad, so I left. I sold some figurines at a pawn shop and then went for a cup of coffee. In the coffee shop sat two indie devs from the game studio, having a very meta, self-aware, and self-critical conversation about the game that I'm currently playing. It was pretty charming and silly. I liked it. Now give me my fucking coffee, bitch!
Groovy!
Finally, I went back to the Phoenix Club to meet up with that Dark F guy. He makes some small talk about leaving his girlfriend, and I reminisce to him about how much I miss Jennifer Jelly, who left me over a year ago, just after the party. It's revealed that the breakup was mostly my fault for committing some, so far, unexplained betrayal. It stings being confronted with such harsh truth, and I momentarily lash out. But Dark F responds by confiding his own worries. Chiefly, his concern that since he quit his old addictions, his art will suffer and he will lose fans. I tell him, fuck the fans, the customer is always wrong. He says he wishes that he had something to calm his nerves, and hands me a crude drawing of how he wants the stage set up. It's hard to tell the bass from the guitar, but I try my best to get it right. I find a crowbar in the men's bathroom. It could come in handy if I need to Half-Life some fools. While setting up the stage, I'm approached by Dark F's former girlfriend. I'm not sure if it's wise to tell her where he is, as she's clearly some kind of dangerous influence. My fears are confirmed, as she offers me heroin, telling me to give it to him if I see him. I swallow my revulsion at this filthy, drugged-up, enabling hussy. I want to tell her to walk her $2 trifling ass out the door before I make change, but instead I'm struck with inspiration. Sensing a most fortuitous opportunity, I agree to deliver the heroin. As soon as the whore leaves, I pocket the drugs. He'll never know that junkie was here, and I'll sell the drugs to pay my rent, protecting my friend's newfound sobriety in the process. Everyone wins, except the whore. I finish setting up the stage, and even though I got the bass and guitar mixed up, I still make out with a cool $75. Dark F tells me that I'm a good friend before heading off to prepare for the show. He also tells me they're short-staffed, and I should come back later tonight if I'm free. I'll consider it. But I also have a promise to keep to the old lady next door. By the time I get there, it's too late. She's already cleaned the place herself, but invites me to stay for dinner. I really should go back to the club and try to make some cash, but I can't bring myself to turn down the lady. She's probably gonna die soon. During dinner, she gets me talking about my ex. I open up about my regrets and how hard it's been since Jennifer Jelly left. After that, it's her that opens up about her late husband. It seems we've both lost someone. Apparently, he died in the war, decades ago, and she's been alone ever since. My heart breaks for the old bird, but I can't help but feel this conversation has been good for us both. Food's not bad either. Looks like I made the right choice after all. After dinner, she offers me a gift for staying. Baseball cards, vintage, belong to her husband. It almost feels wrong to take them, but it's a hard knock life, and I ain't about to look a gift horse in the mouth. I hope that pawn shop's still open. Nah, looks like it's getting late. I should go over to Haley's place. No reason to sleep alone if I don't have to. When I got there, Haley was tripping balls and vomiting in the hallway. I used the key on her door, but there was also a deadlock. Haley's too far gone to know how to get into her own apartment, so I guess I'll just leave her there. I end up sleeping on a mattress in an alleyway for no reason. I still had my apartment key, but I forgot. I had a dream sequence that was actually a flashback. Jennifer Jelly's dad is leaving to do something, and then I get a call about a publishing deal from the guy who hosted the party. He says that, unfortunately, the offer is only for me, and not my partner. I can potentially make a lot of money, but I'll have to leave a friend in the dust.
Betrayal! Betrayal! Betrayed me!
I decided I better take the offer. It's a shitty situation, but any real friend would want me to take it. After accepting the deal, I realized that the partner he was referring to was probably Jennifer Jelly. I don't know why, but it honestly hadn't occurred to me. I thought he was just referring to some random writing partner the game hadn't introduced yet. If he had said Jennifer Jelly, I wouldn't have said yes, but that wasn't made clear. So it seems that I have accidentally betrayed my girlfriend. I honestly didn't mean to. I'm not inconsiderate, I'm just stupid. But in any case, it seems I now know what it was I did to make Jennifer Jelly leave me. And now, I have become one with Jessica Jam, as her regrets have become my own. The next morning, I checked my mail to find a wedding invitation from none other than Jennifer Jelly. Jessica Jam feels conflicted. This is heavy stuff. I have a lot to think about. Next, I open my publisher's check, which has finally arrived, only to find a sorely disappointing $250. It was supposed to be thousands. How the hell am I going to survive on $250? Making my way to a payphone, I call Larry to give that fool a piece of my mind. But instead, it is he who gives me a piece of his mind. Apparently, my lack of output over the year has finally caught up to me, putting Larry's ass in the line. The publishers are throwing my ass away like a parking ticket, and this measly $250 is the last I'm gonna get. How in the hell did my life get to this point? Just a year ago, the future seemed so bright. I had prospects. I had hope. I had Jennifer Jelly. I strike up a last desperate deal with Larry to throw together something publishable for my random journal entries. He wants it by the end of the month, so looks like I now have a framing device for my adventures over the next 30 days. As a final favor, Larry promises to make some calls and get me some job prospects. I hang up and prepare to face the world, evicted, alone, jobless, and having pissed away my opportunities. I suppose now that I've lost everything, I'm truly free. The first thing I do is head on down to Haley's place. I need some hot lesbian action before I can figure out what comes next. My God! I must have come in at a bad time. Haley's getting rammed. Apparently these two are pretty easygoing. They have an open relationship and enjoy bringing in third parties, male or female. They say I can stay, crash here whenever I want, and join in the fun. I accept their offer. I may be a broke, lonely, destitute failure, but at least I can still get laid.